Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's go to Christina Aquino. Should we do that?
Let's do Stock Movers. Yes.
The first one is interesting to me. Christina Aquino, thank you so much for joining us, managing editor for Markets Live. Nexstar. Tell us what Nexstar is and what are they doing?
Nexstar, yeah, TV station operator. And this is an M&A story, basically, Paul, because they just agreed on a deal to buy fellow TV station operator Tegna for $3.5 billion in cash. So that values Tegna at $22 a share, a 44% premium to Tegna's stock price on August 8th. That's when we first got reports of this merger happening. And so this is a move that, will expand Nexstar's reach to about 80% of U.S. households. Tegna has 64 stations, so it will give it access to those stations as well. And, both companies have cited regulatory changes as the main catalyst for this move. There have been recent court rulings that could pave the way for merger, particularly in the media space. Perhaps there's some resistance to that previously, but looks like the door is open now for deals in this space for sure.
Allen & Company representing the seller here, which I find interesting because Allen & Company hosts the Allen & Company Media Conference every July out west, and that's where a lot of these deals get hatched. And you oftentimes see it, 6 months, 12 months later, deal announced. So it's interesting to see they got paid here. Anyway, I used to cover both of these stocks, and it is really a function of President Trump looking to loosen further regulatory in terms of how many stations you're allowed to own. So that's a direct benefit.
The timing on it.
Right there. Perfect. How about Intel?
Yeah, let's start. We got to talk about Intel today, Paul. So ticker INTC. Those shares are hanging on. Oh, they're up, as Charlie Pellet mentioned, more than 7% at the moment. And so the latest on that is, of course, Softbank agreeing to take a $2 billion stake in the company. That's after a report that the Trump administration itself is in discussions to take a stake of about 10% in the U.S. chipmaker. So a lot of interested parties in Intel. And generally, the analyst commentary around this is that it is a positive. But there are still a number of questions around Intel's prospects. Bloomberg Intelligence, for instance, saying that there is confidence in Intel's turnaround now, but the risks won't immediately fade. And Wedbush actually arguing that the government taking a direct stake could inhibit Intel's ability to maximize shareholder value. So we'll see how that story plays out. But for today, it's a positive one.
And retail earnings kicked off. Home Depot, big one.
Absolutely, Lisa. Home Depot, well, that's also in the green. So ticker HG shares are currently extending, now up more than 3% from the opening bell there. And, the main metric there is really the comparable sales. So that return to growth in the second quarter, it's up 1% versus 3.5% declines from a year earlier. But it did fall short of analyst estimates. They were looking for a 1.39% growth rate. Now, we did hear from CFO Richard McPhail saying that Americans are not taking on large fixer-upper projects at the moment. They're opting for smaller home projects in the meantime, hence that moderate comp sales versus what analysts are expecting. Bloomberg Intelligence is saying that there is weakness in big ticket categories like kitchen and bath, which is a headwind, but there is investment in other areas like their online store, their supply chain, which means that Home Depot probably well placed for a market rebound.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.